Good morning, students. It's been a long time, and I hope you all have enjoyed your holidays a lot. So now, since you know that today is your English class and it's the first day of your class, so today let's learn on the first poem, that is The Heart of the Tree, written by Henry Cuyler Bennet. Now let us first see about the author and the poem. The Heart of the Tree is a poem written by the American author Henry Cuyler Bennet, first published in 1912. He has written many poems and stories. In this poem, the poet talks about the noble act of planting a tree. All of us know that it's a great thing to plant trees, and in this poem, Henry discusses the various great benefits of planting trees and praises the person who does this noble act. According to him, planting trees can help in a nation's growth. All stanzas of this poem begins with a rhetorical question. What does he plan who plants a tree? And then closes the stanzas by highlighting the impact of trees in the environment. By doing so, he makes the reader to ponder over the issue and eventually answers on his own by mentioning the various benefits that the trees give us and thereby praising the man. We know that the heart is the most important organ in the human body. And when the moment the heart stops beating, the human will die. So the poet has put the tree as the heart of the life on the planet. The poet conveys the heart or the benefits of the tree in this poem. So now let us look at the first stanza. Here let us read the first and the second line. It says, "What does he plan who plants a tree? He plants a friend of sun and sky." The poet here begins with a question. What does he plan who plants a tree? And answer it himself by stating that a man who plants a tree, he plants a friend of sun and sky, and a plant grows upwards and aim to reach the sun and the sky. So it is just like the sun and the sky get a new friend in the tree. Trees are a friend of the sky and sun because they grow tall and seem to touch the sky. The sun is a friend because plants need sun to prepare food by the process called photosynthesis. We all know that. Here, we could see that the poet, after asking the question, he also tries to involve the reader to think on his question and then answers along with him. Now let us look at the third and the fourth lines. He plants the flag of breezes free, the shaft of beauty towering high. Here shaft means thing that is long and thin. Towering high means standing tall. Here the poet compares the tree to a flag, just like a flag that furls freely when the air blows. The trees also flutter and provides cool breeze to us. The trees that grows up tall, standing like a beautiful tall tower, touching the rays of the sun. Thus, the tree is compared to a flag with a long shaft of beauty fluttering in the air. Now let us see the next line. He plans a home to heaven anigh. Anigh here means nearby. So by planting a tree, a man plans a home high in the sky. He plants near heaven for the sweet singing birds. Next line, for song and mother croon of bird. Croon means soft song or a lullaby. What is meant by mother croon of bird? Mother croon is a soft song that a mother bird is singing to her young ones to put them to sleep. Now let us look at the next line. In hushed and happy twilight heard the treble of heaven's harmony. Here hush means quiet or calm. Twilight means the period just before it becomes completely dark in the evening. Then treble means a high pitch or the highest singing voice. Twilight on earth is the illumination of the lower atmosphere when the sun itself is not directly visible because it is below the horizon. You can define twilight simply as the time of the day between the daylight and the darkness, whether that can be after the sunset or before the sunrise. So in quiet and happy twilight, this time we can hear those birds chirping, which is harmonious to heaven's own tunes. It is sung in a hushed voice because it is sung during twilight when all the human activities are restricted and an atmosphere of calmness and the serenity prevails. The treble of heaven's harmony means the way in which different musical notes are played or sung together in a high tune or pitch and combine to form a pleasant sound. Then the last line, which is the repeated line as it was mentioned in the first line of the stanza, but the first line it came as a question. But the last line, it's like a statement. So here the last line of the first stanza, it says, these things he plans who plants a tree. In this stanza, he then ends up by using the refrain, which is the same sentence, but it is declarative, not by questioning. Here it is to convey that these mentioned above are what the person does if he plants a tree. The poet trying to tell us that by planting a tree, it is not only an ordinary thing to do, but it is a heavenly affair. So I've explained to you on the first stanza. Now let us look at the poetic devices. Okay? So, in some of the poems, you'll find that there are the alliteration, the metaphor, the metonymy, the transferred epithet, personification, etc. So now let us see what are the alliteration, the personification, etc. that we can find in the first stanza. So the first thing that we can find is the alliteration. Now you may wonder, what does it mean by alliteration? Now alliteration means it is a close repetition of consonant sounds. Keep that in mind. It's the close repetition of the consonant sounds. If the consonant sounds are being repeated in the same, that is called an alliteration. Okay? So, as you see in the first stanza, the line says, He plants a friend of sun and sky. So you see there the word sun, sky. Sun starts with S, which is a consonant. We all know that. And sky, again, it starts with S, which is a consonant. So sun, sky. So these are called as alliteration. And the same thing you can see in the second line. He plans a home to heaven and I. Here you see the consonant H in the word home and the consonant H in the word heaven. So home, heaven. Next line. In hushed and happy twilight heard. There again you'll see hushed. It starts with the letter H, which is a consonant. And happy, it starts with the letter H, which is a consonant. And heard, H. Okay? And the next line, the treble of heaven's harmony. See, he, heaven, ha, harmony. Okay? So heaven starts with the letter H, which is a consonant, as well as harmony, H. Okay? So he plants a flag of breezes free. So all these that I've underlined there, SS, HH, HHH and HH, you see there? Those are the alliteration. So now let us see the next one. What is the next one? Next one is metonymy. Now again, you may think that what does it mean by metonymy? So let me explain to you. Metonymy means the substitution of the name. I'm pretty sure you know what's the meaning of the word substitution, right? It means to replace, okay? So here the substitution of the name of an attribute or adjunct for that one of the thing mean, okay? Substitution of another word. So in the first stanza in the line, he plans a home to heaven and I. So what is the substitute here? The heaven substitute the name sky, okay? So the heaven represents the sky here. So this is called as metonymy. So now let's look at the third one. It's a transferred epithet, okay? Transferred epithet, E-P-I-T-H-E-T, a transferred epithet. Now what do you understand by the word transferred epithet? A transferred epithet, it's a figure of speech where an adjective qualifies the noun, okay? It qualifies the noun, not the person or the thing. For an instance, you see the line there, one of the line in the first stanza, in hushed and happy twilight heard. So here, the adjective happy, it qualifies the twilight, though it means about the people's happiness, okay? So that is a transferred epithet. Now let us look at the metaphor. Now, metaphor, again, let me explain what does it mean so that you can understand it clearly. Metaphor, it is a figure of speech in which a similarity between two different things is implied but not directly stated. See what does it says? It is a figure of speech in which a similarity between two different things. Remember, two different things is implied, but it's not directly stated. So in this poem, the branches of a tree are compared to a flag. Okay? You remember it says that when the breeze are blowing, the trees are moving, right? So it's just like the flag is also fluttering when the air is blowing. So here the branches of a tree are compared to a flag. For instance, as you see in the poem, it says, he plants the flag of breezes free. You may think that how can a person plants a flag? Okay? So but here the flag is a tree. Okay? So that is a metaphor. Now let us look at the next one. Personification. Now what does it mean by the word personification? Personification is a figure of speech in which the abstract ideas are given attributes of living beings. Okay, abstract. You know, what does it mean by abstract, right? Something that can't be touched. Okay, so here it says, for instance, the poet personifies the tree when it calls it a friend of sun and sky. So here, a friend of sun and sky. So see, a tree is a friend of the sun and the sky. Okay, that is a personification here. Now let us look at the next one, the form and the structure of this poem. So as you see, in this poem, The Heart of the Tree, there are 3 stanzas, okay? I've explained to you only one stanza, and you'll be having another 2 stanzas. So each and every stanza, as you have seen in the first stanzas, there are 9 lines, okay? But not only in the first stanza, all the 3 stanzas, they have 9 lines each. So this poem can be roughly said that it follows the rhyme scheme of A, B, A, B, 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 C, C, A, A. Now, for instance, the rhyming words in the first stanza are the rhyming words. You know what our rhyming words are, right? Now let us see. Tree, free. These are the rhyming words, okay? In the first stanza. Tree, free. Tree is in the first stanza of the first line of the first stanza, and free is in the third line of the first stanza. So tree, free. And sky, high and high. I've explained to you on the first stanza, and I hope you've understood. So now let us go to the second stanza. So let us read the first and the second line. Here it says, what does he plan who plants a tree? He plants cool shade and tender rain. Again here the poet starts with the same refrain or repeated repressed sentence. And then he goes on by answering, trees give shade and help maintain the balance in nature. Trees are very important in bringing rainfall. They provide shade. Now let us read the third and the fourth lines. And seed and bud of days to be, and years that fade unflushed again. Flush means a new plant grow. The planter of trees also plants seeds and buds of the coming days. Seeds and buds represent the promise of life and a potential for growth. The trees will produce seeds and buds through which it shall continue its lineage, or it'll increase in numbers. Even after the tree dies, the seeds it had produced sap, which give rise to a new tree. One who plants a tree also plants a living entity whose leaves fade in autumn and flushed in the springtime, which means a new plant will grow in the springtime. Now let us go to the next line. He plants the glory of the plain. He plants the forest heritage. Trees are the main elements that make a plain area green and beautiful. So the poet describes trees as the glory of the plain. Planting a single tree may turn into a forest someday. So by planting a tree now, the man plants a forest heritage. Let us go to the next slide. The harvest of a coming age, the joy, that unborn eyes shall see. What do the expression unborn eyes indicate? The expression unborn eyes indicates a reference to the future generation who is yet to be born. The speaker mentions that planting a tree today would give fruits in coming days. Here when he says fruit doesn't mean the particular fruit like apple, mango, okay? So it simply means like the trees will increase and it will give benefits to the future. So planting a tree now will help the people in the future in all sorts of ways. Thus, the persons who plant a tree is great indeed. So our next generations would be delighted seeing so much vegetation and they'll reap its benefits. So all the credit to whom will go? All the credit will go to the man who plants a tree. So I've explained to you on the second stanza. Now let us again see at the poetic devices. So you remember when we go to the poetic devices in the first stanza, we has the alliteration, the metaphor, personification, transferred epithet, metonymy, right? But when it comes to the second stanza, we don't have all those. We have only the metonymy, okay? So in this stanza, we see the phrases cool shade, tender rain, sap and leaf, and wood are all the metonyms for the tree, okay? So now let us look next at the form and structure. So first let us see at the rhyming words, okay? So now let us see what are the rhyming words which we can find in the second stanza. So the rhyming words in the second stanzas are tree, bee, okay, tree, bee, rain, again, plain. Next, heritage, age. Then sea, tree. I'll repeat, tree, bee, rain, again, plain, heritage, age, sea, and tree. Okay, those are the rhyming words which we can find in the second stanza. And let me remind you that this poem has a rhyme scheme of A, B, A, B, B, C, C, A, A, right? So now if you can see here, I've put the second stanza, okay? So you'll see here, what did I put? What does he plant who plants a tree? So you see I've bold the word tree there, that is A. He plants cool shade and tender rain. So you see the rain, the second line and the fourth line and the fifth line, they rhyme the same, right? Rain, again, plain. So I put rain, B, and there's again B, plain, B. So those who rhyme the same, rain, again, plain, I put B. So first one is tree, which you can find in the first line, and the third line again B. So A, okay? So I hope you've understood. You can just look at this point. You'll find that the word which I've bold or which I put italics and which I underline, and you'll find at each of every lines, when each and every lines ends, I put the alphabet letters. So those alphabet letters are the rhyme scheme. So I hope you've understood enough regarding the second stanza. Now let us look at the next stanza, which is stanza number 3 and the last stanza of the poem, The Heart of the Tree. So he plants in sap and leaf and wood, in love of home and loyalty. So the planter of a tree not only plants resources for the future in the form of sap and leaf and wood. A man who plants trees does so because of his loyalty towards his neighborhood, his family, and society. He also plants within the tree his virtues, his love for home and loyalty. Now let's read the third and the fourth line. And far cast thought of civic's good, his blessings on the neighborhood. So here far cast thought means far reach thought, okay? Those who are able to foresee, to see it beforehand. So by planting a tree, the man shows his love and loyalty for this earth, which refers as his own home. His sense of civic duty, which is for the welfare of the society, and his blessings on the neighborhood. Similarly, loyalty doesn't just refer to one's country, but also loyalty towards the environment, which has given so much to us. Now let us read the fifth and sixth line. Who in the hollow of his hand holds all the growth of our land. Hollow of his hand means the palm of his hand where one is most protected. The hollow of the hand refers to the shape of the hand when the palm is turned upwards and the hand is made into a cup shape with the fingers and thumb held together and bent towards the arm. It's the shape you make when you want to drink water with your hand or hands, or hold something precious like an egg or a small animal. Now let's read the next line, which are the last two lines. A nation's growth from sea to sea stares in his heart who plants a tree. So from sea to sea here means from coast to coast. A person who plants trees is the one who thinks of the growth of the universal welfare, the entire planet from coast to coast. This is the feelings that live in his heart, in the heart of a man who plants a tree. Now students, let us look at the poetic devices that we can find in the third stanza. So the first one that we find is the only one, that is polysendeton. Okay, maybe you haven't heard about it. Polysendeton is a figure of speech that used for a close repetition of conjunctions. You know conjunctions, right? Conjunctions are the fanboys. I'm pretty sure some of you might have still remember about the fanboys. F stands for, A for an, N for nor, B for but, O for or, Y for yet, and S for so. So here, see for instance, if you see in the line here, he plants in sap and leaf and wood. Where can you find the repetition of the conjunctions here? Here and, right? So it's repeated twice. So that is called as a polysendeton. Now let us look at the form and structure. Now the first one, let's look the rhyming words which we can find on the third stanza. The rhyming words are tree, loyalty, wood, good, neighborhood, hand, land, sea, tree. Okay, I'll repeat: tree, loyalty, wood, good, neighborhood, hand, land, sea, tree. So these are the rhyming words. Now the rhyme scheme again, I'm pretty sure by now all of you have remembered it. You may even have by hearted. So it's A B, A B B, C C, A A. Okay, so you can see down there I've put the whole lines of the third stanza. Okay, now let us look at the theme. What is the main theme of this poem? The poem attempts to educate the readers. Okay, he wants to educate us about the importance of planting trees for our survival. So we should note that for each and every story, there will always be a moral, right, by the end of the story. So likewise for the poem, for each and every poem, there may be a message that the poet wants to convey. So here the poet, what he wants us to know about the importance of the planting of trees for our survival. This poem glorifies the act of planting trees and equates the man who does so with God-like attributes. Equates means he's trying to put it equally, okay? Trees do not only serve to beautify the nature, but it also provides a home for the birds and also offer us cool shade. They are harbinger. Okay, so harbinger here means foreshadow, okay, the shadow beforehand, or to foretell, to tell beforehand. So the trees are playing a specific role by telling us about the rain that'll be coming. How? Because sometimes, before the rain comes, you'll see the breeze and the trees are swaying, right? So then only we usually guess that, oh, maybe the rain will come, okay? So they are the harbinger or the foretells of the rain and the source of cool breezes. They keep the environment balanced by taking in carbon dioxide and giving out oxygen. We all know about that. Trees reduce pollution in the air. So now let us look at the importance. He encourages us to plant more and more trees. Those who plant trees, he also plants it for tomorrow or future generation. So now let us see on the tone of the poem. The tone of the poem is very inspiring because here the poet is concerned about the earth, and he also lays the different points to illustrate about the usefulness of trees in order to protect the earth. The poet uses simple words to deliver his message, and that plantation is no longer a hobby, but it is indeed a necessity for our survival. So now let us look at the conclusion. The poem praises the satisfaction one gets in planting a tree. You remember he praised the man who plants a tree. And the various elements of nature like the sun, the sky and wind are also a true friendship of the trees. We remember as it was mentioned in the first stanza, a friend of the sun and sky, right? The next poem, with shade and rain, trees bring comfort to people and animals. Therefore, one who plants trees brings joy and blessings to the neighborhood, society and environment. See, with shade and rain. We can see that in the second stanza. He plants cool shade and tender rain. You remember? So now let's go to the last one. There is a strong relationship between men and trees as for survival. We need to ensure that the trees keep growing like beautiful towers that reach the sky. So in this poem, we have learned a lot, okay? We've learned so many things about the importance of trees. So now let us all try to stop deforestation and let us all learn to plant trees in order to make our environment to look green and